multiple things, but even in multiple things, you have to be the same.
Okay.
You have to have same focus.
What are you passionate about?
My passion, if I keep telling about my passion, it is a never-ending list.
Okay. I believe in one thing, Akka. Like, if your things are honest, if the things you are performing is honest, definitely recognition will be automatically implemented. And no matter you need to get recognition from everyone, like you need to do work. But when you are honest in the work, then automatically everyone recognizes you, and that is the payment for the success.
Real. And then coming to Ajita ma'am, I like her the most because she helped me in learning how to write papers, research papers especially.
Research
So
papers.
for what all 3 papers we published, it was because she was the one. She called me. She.
Hi everyone, firstly welcome to EPISODE Talks. I'm very glad to introduce you to the person who is a graduate of Electronics and Communication Engineering from Srinidhi Institute of Science and Technology. I'm co-founder at TECHIE. I'm Managing Director of OCEANIC Publications, Associate Functional Consultant at ADP, and many more you know in the role she possesses it. And let me introduce you to the one and only Challa. Hi Akka.
Hi.
Firstly, thank you for accepting my invitation. And I'm very glad to interview you.
It's my pleasure to get this opportunity.
Means a lot. And firstly, what motivates you?
So, what motivates me? There are a lot of things. What I believe is, whenever you go out, especially the moment you have some identity for yourself,
Okay.
you don't have any respect. And right now, in the current situation, what you understand is people respect money, people respect the status, but there are very few people who really respect their talent. So, what I believe is, you should never be one among the crowd. You should be the one who leads the crowd.
Yes.
Wherever you go, you should always have your own identity. Like when someone hears your name, they have to understand what you are. They must be in a position to answer, okay, I know her or him. He is something, he has this. So I always believe that, because if you are living in a way where people don't know you or people don't understand what you are, it's like you are just living for the sake of living. You don't have some purpose of doing things. So that is the thing which actually motivates me all the time.
Yeah, very well said. And how would you like to describe yourself to the world?
So describing myself.
Yes.
So I'm basically very enthusiastic.
Okay.
I'm so confident about things, and especially what I take as a challenge is, most of the time people say you can do this, you can't do this. Like they always set boundaries to everything that we do. So that is where I challenge myself. I always like doing multiple things with same concentration, same focus. I always listen to people saying that multitasking is possible, but you can't focus in the same way on all things. That's the thing that I have been listening since so many years. But what challenge I take is, you do multiple things, but even in multiple things, you have to be the same.
Okay.
You have to have same focus. So that's where I actually start, even when I come to managing my academics with the extracurricular, co-curricular things and everything, I always have this point in my mind. Even if you're doing everything, that doesn't matter. It's what matters to me is how best you are doing all the things.
Yeah. So overall efficiency should be there. Like whatever the task you are managing or whatever the multitasking you are performing. So efficiency should not change.
Efficiency should not change. That has to remain same.
Yes. And how do your friends generally describe you, Akka? How do your friends like? There will be some kind of description, no?
So basically, I have different kinds of friends. Few people think like, why this girl will take up all things, like she knows she is going in certain paths, she has certain goal. Then why to take all these things? That's one description I get. Second thing is, people describe me as intelligent. Most of the people call me a topper. And one thing that I love the most when I am described as kind-hearted and pure-hearted. That is something which makes me feel very happy.
That is depicted all the time. Obviously.
Because internally, for me, my success or achievements that I get doesn't matter a lot. What matters to me is, at the end of the day, if you sit and think, You have to get at least pictures of few people in your mind whom you helped on that day.
Yes.
So that's what makes me more happy than anything else. And especially teaching someone. And when they come back and tell, okay, what you have taught us helped me in getting this. So basically, I usually listen most of my students who come to me describing me as you are my inspiration, because of you we are in this. So when they say that, I'm not so happy because they are praising me.
Yes.
I'm happy because I helped them in finding some paths. So these are some descriptions I usually get from different people.
As the situation arose, I would like to share one thing. You have been an important role in my life, Alka. Like you have been motivated since I joined Oceanic Publications, and you are the reason I have joined Oceanic Publications and contributed myself to the publications. And it's been a great time. And apart from Oceanic Publications, you have motivated in terms of technology, innovation, everything. And we may not know, but we are a part of orientation issues. Yeah, that's happened because of you, and thanks a lot for that. And coming to the next question, how would you handle stress and pressure?
So stress and pressure, what I usually believe is, if you love something,
Yes.
even if you work midnight for it, you'll not feel stress.
Yes.
So what is there is, it's in your mind. I totally believe that. I believe mostly, like people might be thinking like she's speaking in the terms of psychology. But what I believe is, until or unless you consider something as pressurized, stressful, your mind doesn't feel that. If, for example, someone gave you some task, you keep on telling them, I have lot of work, I have lot of work to do, you're pressurizing me. So the more you repeat that statement, you really feel pressurized, even though you have work or not.
Yes.
So for me, the first philosophy I follow is, when I have work, first thing is I need to complete the work, then only I think of my time to take rest. So that's the first point I follow. And the second point is, I have certain goals for every day. Like, you have to complete these works in this time. Now, if I get 5 minutes of time, break time also, if I feel I can complete some work and it's important, I utilize that break time and complete that task. Because once you are done with the work, at last you usually get your free time, you can enjoy that.
Yes.
That's the second thing. And the third most important thing I usually have is prioritizing the things.
Okay.
We all have multiple works. I agree. We have personal works, professional works. Almost we have multiple things. But out of them, some are very important.
Yes.
Some are you can do it later also, and some even if you don't do, it doesn't bother you much. So what I'll do is prioritize things, and then I'll start the things for which I have most priority. When I prioritize things, I can actually manage everything without any stress and pressure. But still, I agree that at some points you feel stressed and pressurized. And for me, my stress buster is writing poems.
Yeah.
When I completely feel stressed and I'm feeling like, okay, I have to vent out all my emotions now, otherwise I'll not move forward. At that particular time, I will start writing poem. So you usually see me writing poem on every Saturday these days.
Yeah.
Because Saturday, like Monday to Friday, it's my working day. So Saturday is a week off. So I start my day with a poem, because the moment you start your day in a fresh mode, you'll always have that enthusiasm throughout the day. That's what I
It carries throughout the day.
Exactly.
Okay. And what kind of suggestions would you like to give to the persons who would like to pursue their education career in your field?
Okay. So my best suggestion is, don't run behind marks.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing I would like to tell, because me myself, I literally cried even for 1 mark.
Okay.
I know that like telling is so easy, but implementing it is really tough. For me, whatever I learned, I had to. I usually remember that. At the same time, for me, it was like, if they keep some test for you for 23, you have to get 23 at any cost. 22 and a half also will not satisfy me. So this was at some time right now I feel that because of that sometimes I made myself more stressed, or sometimes it's like I cried for things which are not so important, and I spoiled some moments. I feel that.
But one thing, at that time you will not realize like these are not important.
Exactly.
We should not run behind this. But we'll be having a kind of interdisciplinary. Like we need to get total marks, we need to get out of to get impression and to get success. But what kind of message would you like to give to the persons who feels in that way?
My biggest and the best thing I would like to tell you is people don't only respect marks, people respect your skills and talent.
Yes.
Now, I'll just simply give you an example. Now, even in a class, if one person is getting the highest mark with no skill,
Okay.
and the other person is getting above 85 to 90, in between 85 to 90, and with a lot of skills and with lot of exploration,
Okay.
who do you think will be preferred?
Definitely the guy with the 85 to 90 with more skills.
More skills.
Yes.
Now, apart from that, I'm not telling don't study.
Okay.
My concept is study, learn it, enjoy it, learn practically. More than sticking yourself to the theories and thinking like how much I remembered or how much I'm thinking. One thing is how much ever you learn, you must be in a situation where if something wrong happens, you must be able to implement that knowledge in that position and get the things right. So if you are in that level, you need not worry about marks.
Yes.
And second most important thing is learn as much as you can. Try to give your best, but don't stick on to the expectations from the results. What happens mostly with all of us is recently, yesterday I went to a function. I had a talk with my cousin. She's studying 10th class right now. So she was just asking me, how did you score those many marks? I'm struggling. My score is not going beyond 9.5. I'm studying every day, like I'm not literally wasting 1 hour also.
Okay.
Still I'm not getting it. So I asked her one question. When, what difference you saw for attempting an exam without any expectation
Yes.
and attempting an exam with expectation? So she answered me that when I go to exam hall with the expectation that I have to score this many marks and write it, I always feel tensed whether I'll reach that expectation or not. So in that tension, what I do is I keep checking the paper twice, thrice, so many times as much as I can. But still, there are mistakes in my paper. When I don't go with expectation, whatever I feel, whatever I know, I'll just write it without any tension, without any pressure. I feel whatever I know, I'll just come back. But the thing is, my result in the second one is better than the first one.
Okay.
So this is something we all are facing. I don't say like don't expect or don't try to get into the best thing, but don't stress yourself for something which is not in your hand.
Okay.
You can give your 100%, you can give your best, but still there are some factors when you get the result. But what we usually do is, most of us have this bad quality. When someone couldn't do something, we start blaming their efforts.
Yes, yes.
We don't try to understand what might be the scenario for that result, but we start blaming that you did not write well or you did not keep your efforts. So that is where most of us are lagging.
And another thing, if they get success and they'll blame their success for luck.
Exactly.
Most of the times.
This is something which happens with everyone. Now, for example, you become successful at the first attempt.
Yes.
In the second time, because of some scenario, you were pushed back.
Okay.
Immediately, the point comes is they could do it because it was luck. It's not effort.
Yes.
But trust me, anywhere you go, anything you do, 99% your hard work will be there. 1% luck works out or not works out, that again on your fate. I usually believe that. Fate also plays a very important role in achieving certain things, but 99% you go because of your hard work.
Yes.
And that 1% factor might decide. That is the reason I'm telling you, don't have expectation. You might write very well with your 100% effort. That ties for your 99% hard work.
Yes.
But still there is a 1% luck factor. If that doesn't work out, you don't get the thing that you want.
Okay.
So don't get depressed with anything. And one more biggest thing I would like to tell you is, if something is not happening what you want, that means something bigger is waiting for you.
Yes, definitely.
And whatever effort you put, trust me, it is never useless. That will help you in one or the other way. I'll just give you a very simple example, and then I will conclude my answer. So when I was preparing for my 10th class, like till that time, every time I was the topper of my class. So usually what will be our expectation? This time also we have to top the final exam.
Yes, yes.
So I used to work very, very hard. Like I used to wake up at 3 in the morning. Sometimes in the sleep I used to recite everything.
Okay.
So it's like my parents were, are you mad? What are you doing? You don't need that much of effort. So like that I learned. At that time, I just felt like I was learning.
Okay.
But now, when I actually take tuitions, or recently I told you, like for 3 months, I actually took physics in a school as the teacher was not there. What I could observe was, I remembered point to point every page. I exactly know what was there in which page. And when I was actually delivering them the lessons and all, that learning which I learned, we actually helped me in giving them the best way of learning. And I was very happy because I just went for 3 months. They did not have teacher for almost 3 months.
3 months.
In the last 3 months I went, their teacher completed only 6 lessons. I had more 6 lessons to complete.
Yes.
I completed the 6 lessons in the last 3 months, and you just imagine last 3 months how the situation will be. Still, almost their strength is 33. Out of 33, 27 members got above 9 points in physics and bio.
Wow.
And I handled both subjects together. That made me really very happy because usually they had a lot of fear for physics. And because of this scenario, they literally felt like we'll leave it.
Okay.
Some are like, if we pass, that's enough for us. But still, they could get that much of mark. I don't say it's because of me, but I really feel that whatever I studied at that time, that helped me to help someone who was in need.
This shows actually what a true person you are. And coming to the next question, what are you passionate about?
My passion, if I keep telling about my passion, it is a never ending list.
Okay.
Because at last everything comes, and one thing I would like to tell is always I'm passionate about helping others.
Yes.
How much ever I can, whatever field I take up, I just see out on how many people I could help, how many are happy with what I have done for them.
Okay.
It's not I'm depending on some others' appreciation. It's like if I'm working as a teacher, how many students I could help out with my knowledge.
Yes.
That's the point. If I'm working as someone else, how many people I'm helping out in the time when they need it. Usually we get help from many people, but when we are in true need, when it's a do or die situation for us, very few help us.
Yes.
So I always want to be that one person who can actually help you out.
You'll be remembered forever.
Not for remembrance, I don't usually believe it.
Yes.
I always believe, okay, you help them. You don't expect that they have to remember it.
Yes.
That's the thing I follow. And second thing is I'm always passionate about learning.
Okay.
Trust me or not, I always, even at my home, they'll say, usually parents will say, okay, you have to read now, you have to read now. In my home, it's like,
Don't read.
you are almost done from morning to evening. Just close your books for some time and enjoy for some time. That's the scenario. Because I usually love reading a lot. Why I don't know, but still, I love reading a lot. And every time I learn something new, that I love implementing it in one or the other point.
Okay.
So that is something I'm really passionate about.
It's truly appreciable. And what made you who you are today?
What made me who I am today?
Yes.
So firstly, it's my family.
Okay.
My parents and my brother. My brother is my biggest supporter.
Okay.
Because whenever you are in trouble, people actually will try to lend you a hand and help you out.
Yes.
What he used to do is, whenever I'm missing something, he always used to be like, you have to do it on your own. And if you are really stuck somewhere, then I'll come to help you out. And I truly believe that is what actually helping me out to be independent right now. Normally, if you are grown up in such a way where people help you out as soon as you are in a trouble, you'll always depend on someone for getting out of that. But because he always made me to learn in that way, there was something helping me to become independent. And especially my mother and father, they usually support me in every aspect. Now, even midnights I work.
Okay.
Just imagine, basically what will be the scenario at home? You have to sleep now.
You have to sleep by 10.
Because of you, we are not able to sleep.
Yes.
I told you I wake up at 3. When I wake up at 3 and study, it's usually a disturbance for others in the family. Still, they never said that. And even now, it's like early morning they'll wake up, they'll prepare something for me so that I'll have energy to carry on with my works. And especially when I'm dealing with multiple tasks, sometimes it's not at all possible to help my mother in household works. Still, she never blames me or she never scolds me for anything. She always say, okay, when you are completed or when you are done with your work, then you come and help me. So that's the thing. And apart from this, I really give this credit to my teachers.
Okay.
And especially I have in school one teacher, it's a Ramadri teacher who is our Telugu teacher. You trust me or not, I was so afraid of coming onto the stage and speaking something. Before that, I would also like to tell about one more teacher. She's our English teacher. Her name is Mary teacher. I actually changed my school when I was in 5th class. We shifted our house and I had to join in Pudumi. It was my first day.
Okay.
Just imagine the scenario of a new joined girl in a new school. No one was talking to me. I was just sitting alone, and she was our first period. She came in the first period. She kept a dictation test. I got 10 out of 10, and she was the first person to keep good in my book.
Okay.
And she's a Malayali, like she doesn't know Telugu.
Okay.
And she usually speaks only in English. And at that point of time, my English was very, very poor. I couldn't speak at least 2 sentences continuously. That was my situation. But since she used to appreciate me a lot, she's like, I was a little bit so, I used to always wait for some opportunity to speak to her.
Okay.
And in lunch, she used to have lunch in our beside section. So I used to go to her. Now, in order to speak with her, I have to speak in English, no option. So whatever I know, I used to mix them like a khichdi I used to do, and I used to speak. Every time she used to correct me. And she was the first one to give me an opportunity to speak something on the stage.
Oh.
It was Independence Day when I was in 7th class.
Okay.
She wrote all the speech, she gave the paper, she just told, just before the day of Independence Day, on the evening she gave, you have to prepare the speech, come and speak it tomorrow. I was literally like, no, I can't do it, I will not at all. Then she was, if you want to talk to me, you have to do it. Otherwise, no. It's
like do or die.
Do or die situation. I can't do anything because I actually like her a lot. I can't get away from her. So I decided one thing, okay, I'll do something. Before leaving, she gave me a chocolate and she said, don't worry, you will do well. I know, I believe you. On that day, I did a whole preparation. Next day I came. Again, before going to the stage, again she gave one more chocolate. Okay. She said, trust me, you will really rock the stage. I went, I completed the speech. I'm not even conscious also what's happening. I delivered my speech and I got a standing ovation for my speech for the first time. It's like, am I in a dream or is it a reality? I really felt very happy. And after the speech, she told one thing. I told you right, you are the best and you will do it. So that's where my journey of public speaking started. And slowly then, as I told you, my Telugu teacher, she was the biggest supporter and for my creativity and poetic skills. She was the main reason. Every day she used to come. Every day I used to go to they'll actually she'll park her scooty behind the school. So I used to go till there whenever she comes. Every day she'll give some new topic. Within 5 minutes, she'll say, go to the assembly, speak it. Okay. She'll, if our assembly is around, I don't exactly remember the time, it was 9 or something. She'll come by 8:50, she'll give the topic, she'll say, speak it within 5 minutes.
And how the experience would be?
Literally, for the first time, when and remember one thing, she'll just give the topic. She'll not give you any content. She'll give the topic, she'll say, you have to speak it. Literally, it's 10 minutes, we don't know anything.
And in front of all.
Speaking in front of all. But one thing, she is my most favorite. Okay. I can't actually deny her. I used to go. Within that 5 to 10 minutes, in my mind, I used to keep some points and then go speak there, come. Every time it worked out very, very well. And slowly I understood that, okay, I'm very good at even giving promptive speeches. And in that way it continued. Every time she used to come up with some topic. And one day, like it was some special event, she gave us almost 4 pages with slokas and everything from Mahabharata.
Okay.
And she only told one thing to me. I know you can say everything without seeing. If it's someone else, I would have given them the opportunity to check and speak. But for you, I know what you are, so I can't give that opportunity. I just revised everything and I went there. I gave it in my own way, and I added my own poems too for that and explained it. And we really got a lot of appreciation for that. Then in that way, she actually molded me into what I am today. Now, whatever speaking I do, whatever appreciation I get from for my writings, it's because of her.
Yeah.
And coming to my inter college, we had our Sanskrit ma'am. Her name is Prapurna. She is one of my biggest supporter, I say, because every time when I lose my, or especially when you're preparing for competitive exams, everything the pace is not same.
Yes.
Every time you sometimes you score very high marks. Sometimes because of negative marks you'll come down. So lots of ups and downs will be there. And at some point of time you feel like it's not my thing. I can't do it. So there are a lot of times where I used to feel like I'll give up my preparation for JEE. It's not something I can do. Every time when I thought that, she used to just say one thing: if you are not doing it, who will do it?
Yes.
It's if you are not, and she always used to give an example. If you throw a ball down,
Yes.
it will rise up with double the effort
Impact,
or
yes,
double
yes.
the impact that we keep on it. And if you just throw something else like
Like
a stone, it will just fall down, it will not come. So that means you have to decide what you have to be.
Okay.
So this is what something she used to tell me repeatedly. And whenever I feel like I'm not being able to do it or something, I usually used to call her every time without feeling like okay, she's calling me again and again. She never felt that. She used to always support me at any point of time. And even till today, whenever I'm going to do something, she and my teachers, they are the first persons to wish me all the best.
Okay.
And with their wishes only, I start something. And after inter, I really felt like I can't get such kind of teachers again in my life. But luckily, after I had a lot of bondings with all the faculty. In everywhere I go, I have a lot of bondings. But these are the people who impacted me the most. That I believe. And coming to the btech, initially first I had Jangir sir who took our physics, and we had one more Jangir sir who took our tech sir. He's from ECE department. So they used to support me a lot right from the first year. Sudharani ma'am, everyone used to support. But especially I had a lot of connection with Anupam ma'am.
Okay.
The reason is she was the mentor for our project which we did for Colors Infinity.
Okay.
And one quality that I love the most in ma'am is she never have any expectation for recognition.
Okay.
If I'm supporting someone, obviously just imagine if you're supporting someone and someone is going to that stage, what kind of feeling you'll have? Okay, I helped them and they'll get that. But till now, I never saw her just saying that I helped you out in mentoring. And she usually, even when I say that because of you we are in this, she will always say, I just told you some points. It's you who implemented it. See that level of generosity and
But
humbleness.
I believe in one thing, Akka. Like, if your things are honest, if the things you are performing is honest, definitely recognition will be automatically implemented. And no matter you need to get recognition from everyone, like you need to do work. But when you are honest in the work, then automatically everyone recognizes you, and that is the payment for the success.
Really. But right now, you see how many people we find
Yes,
in that
yes,
way.
yes.
Absolutely not. Everyone who support you at one or the other point, they'll ask you like, what is my recognition out of it? What is my
Yes.
thing out of it? And apart from that, every time she was the one who supported me a lot. Because I'll tell you one thing, going to that show was not as easy as people
yes,
think.
Definitely.
And sustaining there for 2 months is not at all easy for me especially, because it was for the first time I left my home and went somewhere. I usually don't even go for one day without my parents, and that was for the first time I went somewhere without my parents for 2 months. And I don't have a habit of eating something outside. And food was a major problem for me when I went there. And when you are in such a situation, you usually go through a lot of mental issues. Like you'll feel depressed sometimes. You feel like
Obviously.
I can't do it. But every day she used to call me or text me. She used to encourage me, and she will always create a kind of fun with me so that I never feel like I'm away from home.
Yes.
That way she supported. And I'll tell you one thing, she's so busy with her work. She's pursuing her PhD. Just imagine how much pressure she has from
Yes,
her
yes,
end.
definitely.
And when one thing I liked in her is, when you really want to help someone or when you really have affection towards someone, your busy schedule doesn't matter.
Yes.
You'll always find some or the other time to help them out, to support them. So that's the biggest thing that I learned from her. And then coming to Ajita ma'am, I like her the most because she helped me in learning how to write papers, research papers especially.
Research
So
papers.
for what all 3 papers we published, it was because she was the one. She called me. She encouraged me on how to write it and all. So that's where that one thing made me what I am today, because you just imagine getting your paper published in Springer. It's not as easy as we
It's
think.
one of the rarest things.
So that was one thing where she supported me a lot. Not only that, every time, like most of the times, she was like most caring. Whenever something happens, she used to be always like, okay, I'm there for you, I'll support you, kind. I told these things, but there are a lot of people who actually supported me in all the times. But I told you these things, these people names, especially because these people supported me to the next extent. I learned a lot from them. That's what I'm implementing right now, and that's why you people are like, okay, she's good, or whatever compliments I'm getting.
Yes.
It's all because I inherited some of the traits from all these people.
Okay.
And that's what made me what I am. That's the reason I'm mentioning point by point.
It's genuinely appreciable. And whether you believe me or not, Akka, your LinkedIn profile has been one of my inspirational things in the recent times. Whenever I look after your LinkedIn profile, I used to think like where all this experience comes from, where all these certifications, where all these licenses come from. And the time I see your LinkedIn profile, that automatically inner motive triggers me. Inner motive triggers me to get achieve something more than existed. And it's truly remarkable. And the way you are motivating youngsters in the field of innovation, technology, and in the publications, it's truly remarkable. And based on your replies, I've come to know that expectations should not control you. We need to control the expectations. And if we are having the support from the family, and if we are having the support from the genuine persons around us, definitely we can succeed anything. And no matter, no barrier, we can face.